I know, I'm gonna look pretty silly, but it's cold out here, doggone it. I gotta put you down for a second to put my other glove on, okay? Because I can't poke the button to start recording unless I got my human hand. Ugh. Okay, so let's see. Oh, first 38 seconds, I guess. You didn't get too much good stuff. I'll tell you what, living out there on the farm, it's been freaking cold. I mean, it gets really hot in the summer and it gets really cold in the winter. And we did not have our situation the way it should be. So every year we lived in the cold. I mean, the first year I was there, it got to 16 below in the trailer. I felt my bones aching real bad. You know, and then I don't know after that. I don't remember it being that bad, but it was pretty bad. Anyway, you know, I figured some things out. You know, like this is the thing, you guys, if you have this problem. I was just thinking about it yesterday with the garage. I'm going to be going out in the garage. Well, at the moment, I'm right next to the dadgum door. Maybe I don't need this. We'll see. But it is warm. Anyway, so I'm sitting right next to the garage door. That's too cold. And it's not cold yet. But it did get to 24 the other day. Anyway, this was my solution. I was trying to tell Dad last night, but he doesn't quite get everything I'm trying to say. But you know those cubicles? Office cubicles? Where you go into a big old space and then you section out little office spaces with cubicles. And you can make just a big square. Not even big. I mean, even an 8x8. That's pretty small. But damn, if you're freezing to death, make yourself a little cubicle. Put a top on it and a door on it and get yourself a little space heater. I recommend the far infrared. You know, there's some different ones, but they've got them out there really cheap now. And like I think you can get one for $79 sometimes. And the one that I would suggest is that you get one that has 3 different variables on the heat, okay? Because they have one that is a 750, and then I don't know what the next temperature is, but it goes 3 different temperatures up to 1500, okay? So the bottom is 750, that's called eco. But you don't need much in a small space. And it's not one of those old heaters that is bright red and you know it's using a ton of electricity. This is supposed to be economical, and it is. And I would just do that in each room. To hell with this forced air. You know, we were so excited. We got propane set up. We had brought a propane tank from Kansas when we came. Even wore out brand new tires because we should have just got a tank here. You know, we do stupid things. But anyway, point is, we have a propane tank. And then, but then I never got it set up, but finally got it set up. And so then we were able to use a furnace, an actual furnace, you know? But God, I paid a lot of money for that propane. The furnace goes on, and it's not just the propane that you're paying for, but the electricity to run the furnace. So no. You shut off all the rooms you don't need, and especially if you're in a miserly situation where you just got to, and you don't want to freeze to death. Same thing with cooling in the summer. You know, find yourself a small place that you have to heat and cool, and you live in there. You go out into the weather and do what you got to do, but you come back in there. And then we had the dogs too. So we all lived together, but now we've done some stupid things. We wasted a lot of money. Makes me sick. Even think about it. But the point is, when you're on very little, you can, I mean, oh, I remember something Dad said. Dad used to tell me, poor folks got poor ways. that's the truth. See, I was collecting for the propane company, and I was getting upset because nobody could pay. And I did not understand how Dad could go and give them credit. You know, we can't even afford to buy the stuff, and we're not making very much more than what we were paying for it. It was ridiculous. The people lied to us into that town, and that's a whole other story. But the point is, back to the little poor folks got poor ways. And it's true. So we need to be mindful that people out there are having hard times. So here's my dad. I have to pick on my dad. He's in a recliner and he's in front of a damn window. Okay? Even if your windows are insulated or whatever, there's still cold air. It might not be air, but it's cold. Okay? You put plastic up to the windows. I used to do that. It gives you an extra protection so the wind doesn't get in the house. And you can do it on the outside of the house, but you can also do it on the inside. But here's another idea, guys. I'm just going to give you guys a bunch of ideas because I'm cold. At Home Depot and at Lowe's or any of those home improvement places, they have 4x8 sheets of solid insulation. It's not solid, it's a solid styrofoam, but that would be great. You measure the window on the inside and you make it a little snug. You want it to be snug, so you make it just a little bit bigger than the measurement, okay? And then you want to make sure the window's all cleaned out and stuff, and then you just put that in there on the inside in the house. I told Joe that he needs to do that, but oh no. we freaking got snow coming in the house. I mean, you look in the window sill and it's covered in snow. So, I mean, people should listen to me, but they don't. But I'm telling you, from hard times, I know that would save you so much. You get the biggest spaced area that would house whatever you guys have in your family, you know. And if you have to, you sleep on the damn floor in a sleeping bag. Or you get yourself a cot. You do what you got to do if you ain't got no money, okay? Make what you got the best you can do. So, the styrofoam 4x8, that would do at least 2 windows. And it's wonderful. No, you don't get any sunlight in, but you don't get the cold or the wind because you've got it tucked in there real tight. Okay? And then, curtains at the windows. You know, they sell thermal curtains. But you know what I do? I do what I need to in a pinch, okay? I came here, Dad's got all these windows. He's got this sunroom. There was so much sun coming in that room, and it was just heating me up. And where I was staying, I wasn't getting any airflow because the vent they had was under the dresser. I mean, if you want to be cold, or if you want to be hot, that's the way to do it. Anyway, Dad had a whole bunch of quilts, okay? Quilts and bedspreads that they weren't using. They were in a cupboard. There's 2 freaking big windows in that, I'm going to call it a sunroom, but it's the hot tub room. But it was right next to my room. So it was baking in there. That weren't helping me. And then, you know what? They had a vent covered up in that room. That when I opened that vent, the air conditioning just flowed out. I mean, wow. So, not doing the smart thing. And I'm saying all this because everybody is probably doing similar things. So when thinking about winterizing, if you are in a house, and if you are on very little income, you need to hunker down in one area. You know, like Dad's den has a fireplace. Now see, his kitchen, dining, and den is all attached, all the same. And the laundry room is there too. So I mean, that whole space, there's French doors. You know, so I'd come on the other side of the French doors where you didn't have that. You could even put a wall there. You could build a wall there. That's an idea, because there's a lot of space there. But it still would need to be like the common room. Like if you rented out rooms throughout the whole house, it could be a common room And if you didn't rent it out and you just had a house full of kids, you know, still the common room. It's got the fireplace. And it's big enough, and you have the TV. You can be in there and be comfortable and just have one space to heat. And forget the furnace. You don't use the furnace. Now, you do need to heat up where your food is. You know, that was always a problem, because then I had to heat up the house and the trailer where a lot of my food storage was. So I'm into food storage, guys, and that's another thing you should do. When times are hard, you might not like how it is, but you know, when we're out there, you learn to live off what you got. And it's not always so easy to run to the store to get something. And one of these days, there might not be anything in the store, and you guys are going to be in the same trouble. But we did. I have a well on my property, and I got a lot of food storage. And a lot of that is dehydrated. You need water. So, I mean, really, I just wish it had trees. I want to move where I got trees. And I want to be where I can be hidden. I don't want to be out in the open. Oh yeah, let's just come across these people. Yeah, we can see them coming, but oh my God, you know, there's nowhere to run. Really. Unless you've got a cellar that you can hide, that doesn't look like it's a cellar. You know, I know, doomsday, but look what's going on. And look how many foreigners have been coming in our border. Do you know they have camps set up all over the United States training to kill us? And yet they're allowed to do it. Things are crazy these days, you know. You guys are so worried about being diplomatic. Oh my. Well, what about reality, dude? Reality is we could be dead. Okay? We could be taken over and kicked out. We could have things done to us that have been done to others. And it ain't cool. I ain't looking forward to that. I don't think anybody's looking forward to it, but they just don't realize that's coming. You need to stop and think about it, and you need to get ready. You really do. There's people that hate America, you know. They hate us with a passion. We go over to their countries and stir things up and just cause hell, you know. No, it's not exactly how they tell you, guys. Really. I believe America is a bully. They're trying to take over the world. They want one world order. You know, that's not right. Each country should be able to have their own government. And then they have to figure out, I mean, they need to use their own currency. And they need to figure out how to barter with their neighbors. Bartering is a good thing. But there's going to come a time when you might need to do some bartering. You might be glad if you had a little something that you don't need, but somebody else wants it. And then they got something that you need that they got. And I know I doubled that. You know, I didn't know what I was going to talk about when I got out here. This cold stirred me on. And then the memories of the last 10 years on my property. Oh my. Yeah, I've lived a life that didn't have amenities. I mean, during the summer, we finally got us a trailer. But that wasn't for the whole time we've been there. I found the greatest deal on a trailer. I'll have to tell about that one day. I need to write all these things down. Okay. See, I'm into what I just told you, and then I forgot what I was telling you. Let me tell you about my trailer. See, but I got off on a tangent. Anyway, that's another thing, you know. If you can weatherize a little trailer, then you've got all the amenities you need, as long as you've got a way to pump into water, and it's a small space to heat. You can do what you need to do. Now, let me tell you about my trailer. I'm always into a deal, and I always try to keep money stashed so that when a deal comes up, I can grab it, because the one who has the money is the one who gets the deal, okay? And sometimes they might ask this price, and you don't know what they're going to go down to. Nothing beats a failure but a try. I've heard that. Anyway, it sounds a little backwards, but it's true. I mean, if there's something going on and you need to put it out there. You need to let them know. So here's about my trailer. All right, there was this Okay, my trailer is a 2006, and it was not a camping trailer. It is a mobile park model, okay? It has no holding tanks. You hook up to the water, you hook up to the septic, and you plug into the electricity, and you're set, okay? That is something people ought to, I mean, I don't know if we can move them, because if there's no gas to drive a car to pull it, but still, just talking about staying warm in the wintertime, if you had a dire straight situation, it would be so nice. You know, like all those people living on the streets, it'd be better if they had a little camper. It doesn't have to be real big. You just need a room where you can be warm and you can be cool when you need to. You know, especially if you're single. But I'm just saying it could be little if you're single. But a bigger camper works too. You got to do what you got to do. So back to my camper. It's a park model. It's not a camper. And it's a Fleetwood, I believe. I don't know, I can't remember. But it's nice. But what it was a FEMA. It was a FEMA trailer. So people that were in bad situations, you know, after a tornado or a hurricane or whatever, they brought in those trailers. Well, the person I got it from bought it at an auction. I don't know what he paid, but I saw the ad on Facebook, and it was told me about the trailer, and it was $2,500. Okay, he neglected to say things like, oh, the water heater for sure does not work. You'll need to replace that. He said there's something wrong with the water heater, but he didn't say that until we were there. But anyway, Joe is handy dandy. So he was able to, I mean, I bought a water heater. Now these water heaters are cool, okay? It's we got a 7-gallon, but if you had more people, you might want a bigger one. But it doesn't take long to heat up the water, okay? And it is not an on-demand, but it is at point of. So you put it under the sink in the kitchen, or you put it, I don't know if there's a way to hook up two different things, but we put a water heater in, you know, you got the inflow and the outflow. And it was plug and play, okay? All you had to do was plug it into regular electricity. If you get an on-demand unit, then you got to rewire shit. You probably need a 220, not a 120. Or 125, whatever I know it's 120, but they also say 125. I talked to my phone and I look real silly, I'm sure, but I don't care. Okay, so back to my camper. I've been living in there. Let me tell you what, I've got my money's worth, because I lived in there when I was blind, and I did not. I stayed in there unless you know, Joe never did believe me that I was blind. He'd leave me out in the middle of the parking lot. Come on. Me pushing a cart in a parking lot with parked cars everywhere that I can't see, and he's telling me to come on. You can see. No, I could not. People. Anyway, that's another tangent. But thank God I had my trailer is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so we lived out there a long time without. I can't even remember the sequences of everything. But this trailer, okay, we went to look at it. It had a full-size fridge in it. Still does. But I'd like a better one because it needs seals. It's taking a lot of electricity. It doesn't need to take, and it's taking up space. In other words, it's sitting out 6 inches past the cupboards. And really in a small living space, and you lose the stuff that's in the back of your fridge anyway. I would like to get one that fits in there and fits snug with the cupboards, or in some instead of out. You know, somewhere real close anyway, so it's not taking up your space. Even 6 inches by 4 feet or whatever, 3 feet, the fridge, you know, it's a big fridge. But nevertheless, it sticks out and it's cumbersome, it's in the way. And it's using a lot of electricity, so there's tidbits on that. Anyway, okay, so this trailer, I don't know that he told me, he might have told me, but this trailer had been gutted, okay? And he had done some things to it, but it needed more things done. So we got it bare bones without the furniture inside. and the bedroom. No furniture inside, okay? And this trailer is like it's 28 feet. So you've got a bathroom that spans the whole thing in the back, which is cool. It's wide open space. You got a little vanity in there, and you got a shower, and then you got your toilet. And then next to the toilet, there's like a 2-foot space that's a closet. So, I mean, it's cool, but then it's hard to get into that closet. I figured I would just, you know, when you think about reselling it, you might not want to do these things, but for living in something, the better use of the space, take that wall out and put in one of those 4x8, I'm not sure if it's 8, but a rack. Put a rack in there that you can put everything on, and you can fold up your clothes. You don't have to be hanging them, you know. Anyway, the ones that we got are, and they might be 6 foot instead. Yeah, they're not 8 feet, or they'd never fit inside. So probably 4x6. Enough for 5 shelves. And you can adjust the shelves to where you want them. You can have a real tall one or a short one or all. What I like is the ones that will fit my number 10 cans. Or 2 stacks, you know, 2 cans high of like the vegetables and stuff. You want to be able to use your space but not waste your space. And actually you can have a rack that will fit 2 number 10 cans on top of each other. And that's the better use. So anyway, you can make them all different sizes. And that's what I'm thinking we ought to do in that bathroom. However, I also think about resale value and the aesthetics. It looks a lot better like it is. But really, better use of the space, open it up. Open it up so you can see what's in there. And then I could have part of the pantry in there. Anyway, I'm dreaming, talking to myself, whatever. Because I'm not staying there. But Joe is. And trying to heat that little camper is a lot easier than trying to heat that big mobile home that's got a door wide open so the dogs can go in and out. I mean, what we have is a blanket, a double blanket, I think, hanging over the door so the dogs can go in and out. Really, we need to put a dog door. We had a dog door on both doors at our other trailer. That was when we first lived there. After we decided it was okay to move into that trailer, we were staying in my Dodge motorhome when we first got there. But I thought, you know, there's all that space in that trailer. Why are we not using it? Even if it's not up to par, you know, the space is there. There's a roof. You know, it stops the wind from coming in. You can deal with that. And really, you need some space. I mean, these little houses, yeah, I love little houses. But when you realize that life is bigger than a little house, I mean, really, I do need space. But I've lived with very little space in the last 10 years. Before that, I had a big, beautiful brick home on a half acre in Kansas. Oh my, it was nice. It was great. Yeah, we won't go there. Anyway, I traded that beautiful brick home for 68 acres in Colorado. It's supposed to be 70, and I think what they do is they say 70 more or less. But then when my taxes came and stuff, it says I have 68 acres. So I'm going, huh? But anyway, it's close enough. I'm not worried. But I wish I had trees, and I could plant trees all over that place if I had the moolah to do that. But I also like my landscape to have shape, you know? Now, this neighborhood is nice, and everybody's got flat yards, but there's big, beautiful trees all around. It's nice. I love the Northwest. Hopefully they're not, you know, lumber's a big business up here. I hate that. Meaning they butcher the trees. Yeah, we're replanting trees, but that's not the point. And it takes a long time for trees to grow. You need to be planting them ahead of time. Not doing, oh, I take one up, I put one down. No. Maybe they got it all figured out because it's still green up here. But there was ow, some kind of a, I don't know where this came from, because I usually pull from a lot of other things. It didn't just come out of my head, but sometimes they come out of my head. Now, what was it I wanted to say? Okay, there's a whole lot I wanted to say now. But I was talking about cement. When you take up the trees and you put down cement, that's where you live. You live in cement. You don't have Mother Nature. You know, in order to build, you have to take some trees down because it was pretty thick up here. But I want it to be a woods, you know. Anyway, so that leads on to the other thing, you know. Hemp, Jessica. Hemp is really good for rope and making clothes and doing all kinds of things. They even make bricks for houses. There's all kinds of stuff that's good for. And yes, it is no good if you try to smoke it. But if you grow some and you do it in the right place, I mean, you can do, the stuff outside in the yard is stronger, way stronger. The sun, and then you got all the hours of the sun, and so there's a lot of those during the summer. You know, it's definitely different. And you produce more. Trying to do it inside, oh my. You know, you only get like a 3-foot plant. And really that's good. If you have a 3-foot plant and it's cropped right and it grows as much as it can, then that's pretty good. But it still costs a lot of money. So the smart thing to do is you grow during the summer, from spring to fall. And you forget about the winter. You take the winter off. You enjoy the, what's the right words I want to say? You reap the benefits of your harvest. And you enjoy it. You know, take that time off. You don't need to be working all the time. And you don't need to be greedy. Some people out there are kind of greedy, which means they work their frickin' life away. Okay? No. You need to take care of yourself and maybe your family, or if you had a tribe, you could all work it together, because it's something you really can't do by yourself very well. You need help. It's a great plant. It's great for everybody. Everybody. You could use the hemp that's grown outside in fields and stuff for making materials. They say that it won't burn. I think it's fire resistant. It's pest resistant. Maybe it'll burn, but not very well. If it's all like concrete, you know, put it all together, like they do the bricks in the old days. They smushed like in the Ten Commandments. They sat there and smushed and smushed and smushed the stalks, probably of wheat, into the mud to make bricks. Anyway, same thing. But I know they make clothes with it. And when we were in Perryton, I think there was somebody experimenting with walls. You know, like we go and buy plywood, or we go and buy chipwood where it's all glued together. So maybe something like that. I can't imagine that. I think it would break. But it's supposed to be really strong. And I think I did hear that it was fire resistant, especially, you know, if it's in really thick. And the pest resistant, you know, I got to worry about bugs coming in and destroying the house. I don't know about coming in and biting you, but they, you know what I mean, termites and stuff like that, you don't have to worry about that. And the whole other point is, it's something that grows and you can have it one season, chop it down. Maybe you can grow it twice in a season, chop it down, and go do a lot of good with it instead of cutting down trees. I think we've cut down enough. I'm amazed there's still any left. People go in and they'll buy, people came up from California, okay, when the property values were great here, and they came up and paid cash, and then they chopped down a bunch of the trees and got lots of money for the trees. And then some people bought land with the hopes of getting enough to pay for the land with the trees, because then they still had to build. But you know, I started that out with cement. What is the words? So there's another word that goes with that, but it's the truth. So highways and cement on the byways, no green grass and no trees. So what I was trying to say is Washington and Oregon could end up like that, but they haven't done it in many, many, many years. So maybe propagation is cool, but it just seems like it takes so long for things to grow. When you've got something, okay, it's supposed to clean up the soil. If you got toxins in the soil, you can plant this stuff and it will clean up the soil. That doesn't mean take it into your body, but it means that the soil can be rejuvenated and good. Maybe for the next year, or maybe you have to do that a few times to clean up the soil. I got something going on my nose. Sometimes there's tears coming out of my eyes I don't realize. And I do get excited about things. So I was telling you, I'm gonna have to put you in my pocket again. I took my glove off. Back up to what I was trying to tell you. Your electric bill. If you don't like your electric bill, that's what you can do. Get those styrofoam 4x4 sheets from Home Depot or Lowe's and make them just a little bit bigger than your window on the inside so that you can get them in there tight. They'll smush in there. But I'm saying just a little bit, not much bigger. You will find a big old difference in how much it takes to heat your house. And I don't know, I should tell Dad about that, but you know, people don't want to do all that stuff. But I sure would if I could. I don't like paying electric bills. I had some heavy duty electric bills, oh my God. You know, when it takes up almost your whole check, and then what are you gonna live on? It's a good thing I had food storage, guys. Food storage. Cost a lot of money for it, but I would wait for deals, you know. And then also, at one time I was going, while I was going to church, and the church would go as a group and order certain things, so then I would come to the steak center, and somebody from the branch would go to the steak center and get it, and then they'd come back, and then we'd all come and get our stuff. And I don't know what they do now, but I've got food storage from a way long time ago, and I don't care. You know, some things, once you open it, it's not going to last, okay? Once you open the can, you need to reseal it in something. You just take out what you're going to use. You can use glass jars. And then the vacuum seal has got a gadget that fits over the lid of the glass jar, and it will take the oxygen out of the jar. So you can, you know, use your stuff and not have it go bad. I didn't know all that stuff. So I opened it up, we used it a couple, 3 times, if that, then we forgot about it. And then next thing you know, it was no good. Not cool. So that's not a good way to do things. But if you reseal it up, you take care of it right when you open it. Take out what you need and what you're going to use for a while. You know, if you use it in your weekly or whatever. I was going to say daily, but there are certain things we use daily, I guess. But you know, like flour. Flour doesn't last very long. But it will. There's a way to do it. And I think I heard when you first get flour, put it in the freezer for like 3 days. Now I might be exaggerating on that, but you put it in the freezer and it kills all the bugs. Or some people put it in the oven and it does that too. You know, the bugs and the larvae or whatever that's in there that's, I don't know if it's microscopic, but there's horrible things we don't even know is in our food. But I have bought wheat, and I bought a wheat grinder, and we ought to start using that because you got to get used to it. I mean, if all of a sudden you had to start eating wheat and that's all you were eating, it could be detrimental. I don't know if you could die from it, but you'd get sick. You have to work your way up to it like a tolerance. Same thing with that barley, that product I was talking about the other day, Gladiator barley. When you start taking that, you take a little bit. And then you gradually get up to where you're taking a lot more. But because otherwise it'll give you stomach cramps and stuff like that. But it helps things move along. Plus, it takes and builds muscle. And muscle weighs, I don't know what I was going to say there. I don't know if it weighs more or not. But the point is, it turns fat into muscle. So I need to get that. I definitely, I took that stuff for a long time, along with the Boost and the probiotics and the omega-3s and the D3. And then that Boost is like a powder, and it's vegetables and fruits and all kinds of stuff in there. And I don't know if it's actually the vegetables and fruits, but it is all the stuff from it. And the barley came from Canada, where it's pristine up there. They don't have the toxins that we got in this country. See, one subject can lead me to another. You know, here's something I don't think you guys know. Maybe some of you do. There's always a story. I am a storyteller. Okay, so where I was living in Colorado, I had cattle people all around me and also farmers. Now, it was usually the cattle people were growing the stuff to feed their cattle. So, and also wheat. I don't think they were feeding the wheat to the cattle. They were selling that. In fact, my farm used to be a wheat farm. But in order to produce, you got to be able to have the money. And then that leads me to the story. These people around me, I found out, so yeah, they depend on you getting loans from the bank. Okay? So you go and you get a loan from the bank. Well, you can't get a loan unless you say you're going to use pesticides. They won't give you a loan because that's their product. They're giving the money on. In other words, they got a vested interest in it and they want their money, and they are not going to let you have that loan unless you do pesticides, which means Roundup. Those people around me, there's an airplane, a little duster airplane, and it goes out and it sprays all that stuff all over. And it does it from the air. So even though it doesn't do it right over my place, I imagine it's floating on my place. I don't like it. And here's the thing, Roundup causes cancer. So yeah, we will not give you a loan to produce what you need to produce unless you use it. And then you're going to go out and poison everybody with your stuff. Because Roundup is poison. Yeah, just spray it in the air. You know how many things they've sprayed in the air around here? Joe used to say, come here, look up at the sky. Lines and lines and lines of airplane trails. Airplanes don't make a trail. You know, when we quit worrying about it and all that stuff, I think Trump said it was taken care of. I don't know. But the point is, then it wasn't there anymore. And Joe showed me a plane going by. Had a very little teeniest, mist or whatever come out the tail. Not like these trails, chemtrails. Oh my God. There was one time I went out there and it was like a basket weave, okay? It didn't just go straight line. It went back and forth. It was crazy. That is not just an airplane trail, people. I should have took a picture of that. I don't know if we did or not. Anyway, I do get around, don't I, with my subjects. I've learned a lot of lessons out there, but I also know I was totally stupid. I think I could have done without those lessons. And I could have had time with my family. I did a lot of things I shouldn't have done. Mom didn't want me to get married, and that's exactly why. No more Mary Lou. To the whims of this guy I married. Oh my God. Okay. I'm just saying, people, take your time, figure out things, learn to love the person, the real person. find out all their idiosyncrasies. You know, honesty is really good, you know. Don't tell me what's going on. Man, I've been in a volatile situation forever. And I did not know certain factors. That was very dangerous what I did, okay? Very dangerous. I guess I'll stop with that because I probably shouldn't say anything. But some of you out there know. And nobody bothered to tell me. You let me walk into that situation, let me throw my freaking life away, and all you said, Mary, he's got a good heart. You didn't tell me any of this other shit. Huh. Thank you. Thank you very much, all of you. I think your daughter tried to tell me something, and all she did was make me mad. Because I thought, how rude. But I do wish. And one other person tried to tell me something too, but it was like, and I was already on my way to get married. So pay attention. Pay attention to the signs. Take care of yourself. Do background checks. I didn't do a background check either. My girlfriend wanted me to, but I didn't. Need to find out things. Instead of just being all, oh, la 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 la. No. How stupid. Anyway, I'm talking about me. I've made many bad choices in my life, which has taken up all this time and also took me away from those I love, really love. The ones who begat me and the ones I begat. I have one child and she's got 5. And she would not have those 5 if it weren't for me. In other words, she wouldn't be here if it weren't for me. So they are a part of me. I claim them. When I say my children, I'm talking about my daughter and my grandchildren. And it won't be long, probably, before other grandchildren come along. Because these guys are at the age they're growing up. My Shea Bear, I think she might be 14, I'm not sure. 13 or 14, but so grown up. Anyway, I'm not really wanting to stop, but I think I've probably talked a million miles. I need to walk because coming up pretty soon I won't be walking. Monday I go in and have surgery. It says recovery is a week. He's talking about from pain pills. So I only have a week's dosages of that. Not even a week on some of it. But I'm hoping that will be wonderful if I don't have to worry about that. But you know, I met that lady and we hugged and she said, too tight. So I didn't realize that there was pain still. See, so even though the pain pills will be gone, it can still hurt. But I'm excited. After seeing myself, I'm going, oh my God, what have you done to me? Talking about the surgeon. But I guess, you know, they don't tell you they don't give you all the information. All I know is I felt like he butchered me. And he probably did the best he could. They weren't expecting it to be that big. But that's too, you know, you ask about it and it happens all the time. So that's not good. You can't go in there guessing. I heard one guy was not supposed to have very much in his bowel. They got in there and they had to take the whole thing. Anyway, you need to be careful with the things you're doing out there, guys. Try to eat natural things. And I'm not doing good, but you know, one of the things I was doing good and I need to get back to is my smoothies. And the reason she told me to do the smoothies is because I have no teeth. I do need to start wearing those teeth that I got. I got to remember to get the C-bond. And I hope they'll work good. I hope they will. That would be great. But they hurt that day that I wore them. So what was the point of all that? Must have had something to do with food. Eating. I don't even remember what it was, guys. I'm sorry. Sometimes trivial stuff doesn't matter anyway. It's starting to sprinkle. I just got a drop on between my eye and my nose. I don't mind drizzles. These raindrops falling from my eyes. Do 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 do. Pouring rain. I don't know. All I know is I did find all those songs, so I need to get after that too. You know, there's so many things going on in my head that I have to do. There's no time to take care of Mary Lou, but I have to. I put this off. I don't know if I could have had it any sooner anyway, but I put this off. Taking care of Dad. I wanted to get him took care of. You know, he had cataracts, so he's had cataract surgery on both eyes. He can read a lot better. But you know, even after that surgery, it's like everything's kind of crystal clear at first, and then it isn't. But I think they expect that, and I don't like you have all these eye drops, lots of eye drops in the beginning, and it was almost like the eye drops made it worse, you know. Like I was seeing good, and I'd put the drops in, and of course it's going to be blurry. But I have to have my glasses to see, to read. And if I want to see all the little details. But I really don't want to wear them all the time. But I do like details. But sometimes it's better not to see the details, you know. And I think I talked about that in one of my videos too, when I did macrame. You just come to find out that you don't need to be that intricate. No one appreciates your art enough to pay for it. And the time. I mean, they admired it, and they wanted it, and they wanted it in their colors. So yeah, I had a thing going on where, you know, but I put too much detail into my stuff. And you can have just as pretty a thing using the right materials, but not as much. You don't need to put all that intricacy in, and then therefore someone could actually afford to buy your stuff because you feel like your stuff is worth a lot when you put so much time into it. But if your object is to sell it and make some money, then you need to think about it a little differently. I went crazy with my macrame. My head was designing all the time. I was drawing pictures of what my designs were going to be like, and I was writing the pattern down and how many to do this and that and the other thing. You know, in the very beginning, I used raw jute, and then I dyed it. I wish I had pictures of that. At one point in time, Mom and Dad had a two-story house, kind of like that one right there. Can you see that? Where's it at? Right there. Anyway, off the back deck, I don't know if the nails were already there. I bet I put the nails there. I had 5-gallon buckets full of hot water and dye, okay? And I had figured out how much jute I needed of these different colors and the designs I was putting out there. I was a poor schmuck. My house had just burned down. I took over Mom and Dad's double-car garage. I had 20 different macrames going on at one time. When my house burned down, it was full of art macrame. I had lampshades with plant hangers in the bottom, all kinds of different stuff. I had just made a haul. In other words, I had just gone and gotten about $500 worth of materials to do my macrames with, but that all burned up. I lost everything. I had a roommate, and I had shut his door, and he didn't lose anything. But I did. I lost everything except for what was in the garage, which I had an overflow in the garage to set up another house. But then the boyfriend I had at the time, I went and set up his house in Klickitat, which was a way long ways away and up a mountain. And I let him use my car. Oh my God, I was just stupid. You know, just give everything to this guy. And he's just a guy. Not my husband, not my boyfriend of very long. Then his ex-girlfriend, who was the mother of his child, moves in up there. And they're living on my stuff. So really, I lost everything. And then I moved in with mom and dad. I don't know how long that particular time lasted, but I burnt my house down. Terrible. The noises that came out of my body when I watched that stuff burn. And what my house full of treasures, my macrame, my work, burnt down. And most likely whatever pictures I had too. I mean, anything in the house was burnt. My daughter I had bought her all these, I don't know what they call them, you know, like castles and this and that and the other thing that you played with your dolls with. And I mean, there was all kinds of stuff in her room, which melted away. You know, they might have still been, but I don't know how they could have been. And I think the only thing that was saved was the stuff in the garage and the stuff in my roommate's room, because I had shut his door. The things that'll come out of me in a session. I hadn't thought about that in years. Jessica, let's see, how old was she? I think she might have been 2 or 3. That's how young. Really nice house I was renting in Orchards, Washington. I think it had 3 bedrooms and a living room, dining room, which the dining room was part of the same space as the kitchen. The kitchen had a bar, I think, I'm not sure. And French doors. I had no phone to call for help with the fire. I got the kids out of the house, and that was about all I could do. The house engulfed with smoke. I had sent the kids to the neighbors to have them call the fire department while I was trying to battle the fire. But you couldn't be in there but a second. Really. It's amazing how fast it'll burn. And it was a grease fire. I had grease on the stove. And what I did, see, I was stupid. So stupid. But I kept grease on the stove with a lid on it in a pot, and I like to make fried things, so I would fry stuff in it. But the grease was a little too tall in that pan, and the lid was on it. And I had been baking all day because I was expecting company. I made lasagna, I think, and I made pies, and I mean, I had the oven cooking. So my point about that is I put that pot on the burner to get the grease melted. I couldn't see that the grease was already melted. And I had a bad habit of putting things on high. I think you guys should not do that either. There are things I do now and it's because of that. But it does traumatize you. I was traumatized for a long time about fire. But anyway, I forget. But things do leave their mark on you. But there are things, that's why I was saying I was stupid. I was talking about the pot of grease with the lid on it. So I didn't realize that it was already, it wasn't solid, it was liquid. And I put it on a burner on high. And then I went to the bathroom. I thought, oh, I can just go to the bathroom real quick. And then I saw the mirror in front of my face and realized that I've been doing all this stuff all day for company and I look like crap. So I started messing with my face. I forgot about a stupid burner. And the next thing you know, there's this pop. I hear this pop noise. And I went in there and the flames were just, I mean, the lid was still on the pan, okay? But it was boiling over and the flames were just going up and up and up. So what had happened was it had gone up and burnt the electricity in the ceiling. That's what the pop was. And so I was trying to get that sucker put out, but I didn't know how to put it out. No, I did not have a fire extinguisher. I was just totally stupid. So I'm telling you people, get prepared. You never know when you're going to need that. No, everything costs so much money, but that is something you should have. And you should have it within reach in the kitchen. So that if there is a fire, especially a grease fire, you have something that's going to put it out. And if it didn't already have a lid on it, and if the grease wasn't so full to the top, I could have put a lid on it and stopped the flame, you know. So don't let your pot be full of grease. And actually they have electric fryers that you can get. That's pretty cool. And it monitors it, and you ain't got to worry about fire, okay? Back then, shoot, that was 45 years ago. My daughter was about 2 or 3. That's how I can put time frames on stuff, is I just remember how old she was. Then I can figure out how old I was. I can figure out what year it was. That's too hard. But I've lost all my pictures over time. Jessie puts hers on Facebook. And I have, but not. I should put them all there, I guess. But then again, I don't know. It'd be nice to have some pictures of me when I was younger, if you guys have any that don't make me look terrible. Send them to me so that I can have them. I've seen a couple videos when I was younger. I was sure pretty. I didn't realize it, but I was very pretty. And then even when I was in Perryton, Texas in 36, 37, 38, yeah, I was really pretty. But no, I think I'm very pretty for my age. And I'm happy about that, but I'm not happy that I'm looking old and feeling old. That's why it's so important that I be walking so I can work up my strength. Because I've been sitting around for so long. So you guys don't do that either. You don't got to walk fast, and you don't got to run. You know, when you get older, when you keep on running, you might find that your muscles and your skin is kind of like falling off of your bones. Don't put that much pressure on yourself. Walking is good. I think, I haven't done much of it, but I think yoga, and I don't know about Pilates, but Pilates is stretching. I think those things are good. And walking at a normal pace, not as fast as I've been going. But even fast walking is better than running. Don't run. You put a lot of pressure on your muscles and stuff and your bones. I know, Di. I know you're a runner. Just think about it when you get older, though. Because really, I've heard of people's muscles just falling off of their bones. And how do you put it back on? I don't know. I'm going to have to find a place to go walk, but I'm not going to be walking for at least a week. But you don't want to jar your stuff, you know? You don't want to jar your bones and your joints, and don't want to jar your meat off of your bones. Sounds pretty weird, huh? Just think about it. All right, so I had started out talking to you about my camper, my mobile home is what it is. It is park model, 1 bedroom, okay? All right, so that guy had, he had to advertise it for $2,500. And it was worth it, depending on what it is you're looking for. And I was looking for a living space, and also I could have it for office space if I had something else to call home. But I lived out there through the winter. I always went to sleep with a hoodie on and my sweatpants. I told Dad he needs a hoodie. It'll have to be a zip-up kind, but he needs one he can wrap around his head. And he needs to not be in front of that window. But I'm going to have to do what I said and get one of those pieces of styrofoam. That'll fix it. Then no cold air will come in on him. But, it's cold right there. And then it's been really cold. And I got back there and he had his register turned off and his a piece of wood over the register. So he's had the heat on for a little while, but he ain't been able to feel it. So I'm just saying, people, pay attention. So I got that fixed this morning. I said, why is it so cold? He thinks 1 degree on the thermometer the thermostat makes a big difference. Well, it kind of does, but still. It's because it's been so dadgum hot, because Dad wants it hot. And then we were trying to get it cool because of the summer. Anyway, a lot of the registers in the house have been shut off or have wood over the top of them. So, we're not getting circulation like we need. Anyway, I got his fixed this morning, and I did mine a couple of days ago because it was cold, and I remembered, I turned that register off. I'm dying in the heat. Nothing like living in an oven when you're going through menopause. All right, I can't. Does that work? Okay. I don't know if you can see me at all or hear me. It's telling me my battery's low. But I am at an hour, so I guess I should stop. Yeah, I know they won't get mad. But it's still so you can't see it. Are you working today? I bet they figured out how to shut you off. They did, didn't they? Okay, let's see if you can see her. This is a 15-foot witch. And they did have her working yesterday, I heard her. So, okay. And then these things, that spider is new. Can you see the spider? There's this big old spider right there. Maybe you can make the picture bigger. But I like this guy over here. And I guess wizards have wands. Just think about Harry Potter. But I wasn't thinking that witches needed wands. I really don't think they do. I think you can speak what you want. But see, maybe it's because I have God with me. I have spoken what I want and got it. And it wasn't a good thing. It was not a good thing. One of my other videos tells about it. I wanted to see a girl. I hadn't seen her in years. And I just lifted my head and said her name and said I wanted to see her. Within a week, we met up. And we neither one had each other's numbers, knew where we lived, anything. So I'm just saying, be careful what you wish for. Because, yeah, I needed protection from her. And God did protect me, but still, not good. Just saying, there's some people you don't need in your life. I try to do good. But there are some people that are out to get you no matter what. And especially back then, when they like somebody and you like them too, or the person they like likes you, then there's hell to pay. So, I know a lot of different things. That girl, oh my, my, my. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. It was back there. I don't care to go there no more, but that was a trip. Anyway, I think I will probably stop when I get to the house. Although I'm doing good. Still, it's been an hour and 3 minutes now. But I am walking slow instead of fast. So I might not have walked very far. But I'll be doing good. I'll be happy today. I'm not always happy. Sometimes I'm sad. And I'm fixing to lose my earbud. Where'd it go? I'm gonna fall on the ground. Oh, there it is. Fell inside my jacket. Just give me some kind of sign, girl. Oh, my baby. Show me that you're mine, girl. Do. No, I don't know who did it. Comes to mind, Al Green. But I don't think it's him. And I love Marvin Gaye's music too. Heard it through the grapevine, I know that one. I bet you're wondering how I knew about your plans to make me blue. You see one of them guys that you knew before, said you're two of a kind, you know I love you more. But I found out yesterday, 'cause I heard it through the grapevine. Ooh, just about to lose my mind. Honey, honey, yeah, through the grapevine, don't you know you're gonna be my baby. I'm sure that I've got the words wrong, but that's the gist of it anyway. And then I believe Creedence Clearwater Revival also does that song. I heard it through the grapevine. I love Creedence. I need to put them on I need to go like a bunch of videos so they'll be on my thing, my channel. Cool beans. I never used to say that. I still don't understand that. I sure hope I haven't lost my glove. Okay, I got them on my hands. I was thinking I took my glove off and I didn't know where it was. It's on my hand. I never finished telling you the story about the camper, did I? All right. So, I told him, I liked it and stuff, but I didn't think he was going to go down to what I wanted, so I told him I couldn't afford it. And he says, well, tell me, what would you pay? So I told him $1,500. And that was if he brought it to me, because I had no way to get it to me. Well, he knew all the different things that were wrong, and he needed the money. So he accepted my offer. I was shocked. So I bought myself a living space. But yeah, we had to go in there, and we went and got carpet. We put in carpet, and then we pieced it in there. But it worked out really great. It was actually enough to do the whole thing. And then we got the water heater, and that he got in there and got that put in, and all you had to do was plug it in. Real easy. So not on demand, but at point of service. That's what you want. At point of service. And it plugs right into the electricity, and you got hot water in 10 minutes. I turn it down. I turn it almost off when I'm done. Because, you need to have heat a little bit in the wintertime out there so the pipes don't freeze. You just need to shut it down, drain everything, is what I told them. You either need to live in the camper or shut it off. Do not have it running at all. But then you got to move the food inside, and part of my food storage is out there. But still, you don't want to pay for electricity, that's all for what you need. And at one point in time, I had all kinds of fridges and different things running. I think I had 5 between the fridges and the freezers running. And Joe said, that's compressors. Compressors take a lot of electricity. So, you don't want to do that. Try to condense, especially your living space if it's cold and you have no money. It's better to invest a little bit. I was telling Dad I want to use the garage, and I was thinking about it. You could just use a cubicle. I think I might have said that in the beginning of this thing. But, if you look at offices on these movies, a lot of them are sitting there in cubicles. And you can put a ceiling on that, just like you can do a dog run. You can have a dog run, and then you put a top on it. If they climb out, you just freaking put a top on it, wire it. Get some baling wire. You can get a little teeny roll of baling wire. And you can, thread it around and around and around at the top, and then they ain't going to be getting out. Unless they figure out how to topple it over. So you don't want that. You have to find a way to, if you have that problem, then you stake it down. But I'm really talking about the cubicle. Like, I could go out there and have my little studio and a little heater and stay nice and cozy in a small little space instead of trying to worry about being cold in that big old garage. But hopefully I won't be here past Christmas. I think maybe before Christmas I'll be leaving, I hope. We shall see. Depends on my surgery and how many times I have to keep going back and getting liquid put in and stuff. Anyway, I think I should stop. I got a comment from somebody, and I had to comment back, and I tried to be very diplomatic, but he said something was not true about the Book of Mormon. And so I wrote him on that. I don't know if anybody else can see my comments, or his, or hers. I don't know who it was, but I think it was a guy. Anyway, he said that the Book of Mormon, he didn't use those words, but he says that book was written by one person in the 1800s. And I said, no, that if you pay attention to all my videos, go through everything. I would say go through everything from the beginning to the end. You don't have to do the shorts, because the shorts are there to draw you into the originals, okay? Because I realize people don't have a long attention span. That's what it is. That's what my daughter said. I don't have a very long attention span. So in order to get people's attention, I started making shorts. And what that is a little teeny piece out of the video. That's interesting. And so I wanted to put it out there so that if somebody caught that, maybe they'll come to the original and look at it. And then you'll find some of my videos now, I've got like 6 shorts for the same video. I mean, I've got one video that's an hour and a half long, and I don't think I finished making shorts out of that. But anyway, I'm just trying to have something to grab your attention so that you'll get to the original if you're interested in it. And see, he probably just saw the short and had a few things to say about that. And I'm thinking, you need to understand, Joseph Smith did not write the book. He translated the book through the gift and power of God and through an instrument that was created for that purpose. It was in the box with the plates. And I've told you about the Urim and Thummim, and I told you about the seer stones. So, you think Satan's the only one that's got magic? You people need to realize that God is the greatest magician of them all. And God is our Father, and also Jesus Christ, and also the Holy Ghost. And I have the Holy Ghost with me all the time. And I have talked about some of the things that's happened to me on other videos. So, if you're really interested, you should just go back to the very beginning and try to realize that I'm flying by the seat of my pants. I don't know what I'm doing. I just do a lot of talking. But I have a lot to say. A whole lot to say. And things that you guys would like to know that you just don't know it. So the point is, before anybody can be making a judgment, they really need to delve into it. I need to count them up. There's probably at least 10, if not more, books inside the Book of Mormon, okay? It's called the Book of Mormon because Mormon is a historian who put all the records together before they were annihilated, okay? He gave the records to his son Nephi. It had a predestined place to be. The box was already in place, already done, because they knew what was going to happen. Meaning, the time was going to come that that record had to be hidden up to come forth in a time when God wanted it to. Okay? In the Bible, that guy says, stick with the Bible. I said, well, if you knew what you're talking about, we believe in the Bible, and the Bible goes hand in hand with the Book of Mormon. They talk about each other. And I just got through reading Revelation, okay? And it says a lot of the things that I just got through talking about and reading in 3rd Nephi. So, I'm trying to tell you, the Book of Mormon came at this time in the world's existence, for the purpose of gathering in Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel. 2 of them are here, 10 are lost. Okay? And the stick of Judah is the Bible. And what it is a book, a scroll. Okay? That's why they call it a stick, because it was scrolled up. The stick of Joseph is the Book of Mormon, which is of the people here. But they started in Jerusalem. They left Jerusalem 600 years before Christ. And then went across the great waters and established themselves and grew. 2 different groups of people did that. One from the Tower of Babel. That's in the book of Ether. And I haven't read that yet. I've only read very little, but I've studied it all my life. I know what I'm talking about, people. The Bible, the Book of Mormon, is another witness that Jesus is the Christ. You know, throughout the Bible, the Old Testament, throughout all of it, it talks about this Jesus Christ is going to come into the world, the Savior. And then the New Testament is the record of when he was here, when he actually came. Okay? The Book of Mormon is another testament of the same time frames when Jesus was here on the earth, and what happened over here when things happened to Jesus over there. Like there was a sign they were waiting for his birth, okay? And that is in 3rd Nephi chapter 1. You should read the whole thing. They've been waiting for this Jesus to come and for the sign of his birth. And the sign of his birth is that the sun would go down, but it would stay light, like midday. And then the sun comes up the next day. You can tell because you see it come up. But it's been the same all day, all night, and then all day, of course. So there's just one night. I made a mistake in my one. I was thinking it was like 3 days. But it wasn't. It was 3 days of darkness when he died. When he died on the cross, you can kind of tell by what you read, it took about 3 hours. And during that 3 hours, the earth was in upheaval like you wouldn't believe over here on the Americas, okay? Mountains appeared where there weren't mountains. Valleys appeared where there were mountains. It said the earth swallowed up cities. Even the sea. Cities were sunk in the sea. There was earthquakes and tempest and whirlwinds. And they described how the stones just flew into the rocks, were sticking out like slivers, like when you see a tornado and the wood's gone through a tree. But this was stone into the mountain, or stone into stone, I think. Anyway, if you really understood, the Book of Mormon is to set things at ease. It is another testament of Jesus Christ. And he talked to those people like he did the other people. And also those people came from Jerusalem. And they took the records with them. The brass plates dated back to Adam and Eve. So that's why they had to have those plates. I mean, there's a big story about that in the beginning of the Book of Mormon. I don't know that I want to read that. I've already read some horrible stuff. But it's not funny. I laugh at the wrong things, but the point is, it is horrible. Some of it is horrible. And some things that happen, you know, people question, why? Why would you do that? Because Laban would not give them the records. I mean, they were leaving. They had to leave. They didn't want to die. And so they were leaving. They left their gold and all kinds of stuff. They were a wealthy family. So they offered Laban all that they had to get those records. Okay. I guess I'm going to have to shut up. Anyway, to get all those records. I know this is not the time to lose my thoughts. But the point is, before all was said and done, God granted that Laban would be drunken and laying there, waiting to get his head cut off with his own sword, okay? The sword of Laban was used to cut his own head off. And if he'd have just gave them the records. But no, he just kept all their wealth and stuff, and, you know, you don't need any of it, and wouldn't let them have the record either. So, I think God says in there, and I know it's Jesus talking, it's better for one man to lose his life than a whole nation to dwindle in unbelief, okay? Very important. So this Book of Mormon, believe it or not, is very important. The covenants are in there. This is plain and simple and sacred. And then there's wars in there, which really, I don't like the wars, but we need to know what happened here. We need to know what happened and that we could go through the same thing. We need to straighten up our act. When the lost 10 tribes come, because they're going to be coming, they're going to come from the land northward where God took them. And they're going to have their own record. And it said right there in, it had to be in 3rd Nephi, somewhere. I forget what it was that it said. But anyway, also in the Bible, and the stuff that I have just read in Revelations, it talked about the fact that the gospel was going to be restored to the earth before the end. Okay? The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is that church, and it has that gospel, which is love, guys. It's love. Don't be afraid of it. Love one another as I have loved you. It's a good thing to live by. But then, you know, you need to love like your children. They need to experience the love so that they can go out and give the love to other people. If they never get love and all they get is disrespect, I'm going to say disrespect, because you got to respect them children too. They're children of God, and they're going to grow up, and you need to help them have good values and also value their own life and know that they're worthwhile. And I'm guilty too, saying bad things to our children, and they believe every word, and it don't matter. They love you no matter what. I feel bad for a lot of things. There's nothing I can do about it because it's done. Supper I do feel sorry, but I was going to say try to repent. You have to feel sorry, and you have to ask for forgiveness. And you know, some people are not ever going to let you get forgiveness from them, but you can ask for forgiveness from the Lord. You can let Him know that you realize what you've done and you feel so bad, and please forgive me. But you have to forgive others in order for Him to forgive you. So that's another thing to remember. It's a nice looking washer. Anyway, the Bible tells that the Book of Mormon's coming, and it even talks about Joseph. I mean, if you really understood, and I need to go find it, it talks about Joseph, and also Joseph from Egypt. And I think they're in the same lineage. I'm not sure, but I got cold chills, and it's not from the cold air. This Book of Mormon is very important, guys, and I'm just trying to share it. And you have to realize Joseph Smith did not write it. He translated it through the gift and power of God, and with such faith, total faith and believing. And then once you've seen them, I mean, he saw them. He saw them standing in the air above him, talking to him, called him by name, God the Father and the Son. Angel Moroni, I believe, was probably the first. I'm not sure. I'm not sure which came first. Maybe it was the prayer. He went to the grove, the sacred grove, and prayed. And that's where he had that manifestation. I'm going to call it that. I guess that's what it is. Anyway, God and Jesus came and talked to him and told him. Because his question was, which church should I join? You know, because there was such a revival going on. Everybody saying, come over here and come over there. And he was told not to join any of them, okay? Because none of them were Jesus' church. They were churches of men. Well, through Joseph Smith, the gospel was restored to the earth. And the gates of hell did open against them. Satan didn't want that happening. They were persecuted so bad. Such horror. I just can't believe people are so horrible. And it hurts me when I read any of that stuff. I've already read it. I don't want to read any more of it because it hurts me so bad. And then reading in the Book of Mormon, the little Book of Mormon, the annihilation of the Nephites,